Welcome back to another episode of Level 5 Education Lockdown. Now, I just want to warn y'all, this episode, it gets kind of graphic. Alright? I'm just letting you know right now. Now, every student that I came across in this Level 5 school in Baltimore wasn't a problem. They weren't all rah-rah. They weren't all, the stereotypical bad kid, throwing chairs, fighting staff, attacking people, trying to take advantage of kids with greater special needs. He wasn't one of those kids. And when I had met him, he was a senior. So he had been in that school. He was one of the very few seniors at that school. There was only a few of them at that school. Only a few of them. He was one of them. He was there for a few years. And by all accounts, he was a good kid. He had some learning probably disabilities, I guess, or something that landed him there, right? Which is a whole other discussion. But I guess we'll find out that he did belong there. But our time together was always peaceful. I never had him in physical education. I never had him in health. None of that. But I saw him all the time. He would come into the gymnasium. I never had to tell him more than once to go back to class. Even though when students came in, it was never an aggressive situation because, and I'll get into that in the next video, it's very important how you carry yourself. It's not always about huffing and puffing. Sometimes it's about saying something with a smile on your face, treating people how you want to be treated. And even when you do so, some students are gonna push you a little bit. But he was never one of those. He was never. He went back to class. He would just come peek in, and I remember one time he did that and he left. And there was a student in my class who pointed him out. He was like, hey, that kid right there, he's a great dancer. And this was a tall kid. This kid I'm talking about, whose name is James, is probably like 6'2", 6'3", a tall kid. So the other student's like, hey, James, he's a great dancer. You should ask him to show you his Instagram videos because he dances for everybody. So supposedly this kid, which I found out later because he came in and showed me, was a great dancer. He was the kid who, let's say if you had a pep rally at your high school, which we never did, obviously, for numerous reasons, he'd be the one who said, I'll do it, and he'll dance in front of the whole school. I mean, not even get nervous, and he'd kill it. So when he came back, when I saw him again, I said, hey, man, I heard you're a great dancer, this and that. I heard you got some videos. He said, without saying anything, with a big smile on his face, which he always had. He was always a kind kid with a big smile on his face. He pulled out his phone and he's like, check it out. He goes to his Instagram page and he shows me where he's performing at this place called Shake and Bake. For those who don't know, Shake and Bake is a roller skating ring and like an events arena on Pennsylvania Avenue in Baltimore City, and really one of the toughest neighborhoods in the country, right? There's a bowling alley there. It's like an event center. They have shows. They have different things going on, I guess. And in this situation, it was packed. And him and two other people were on stage dancing to the most popular songs. And the kids were going crazy watching them. Going crazy. Like, this dude was really like that. So, that's as much as I really knew him. Like, that's as far as our relationship really went. Because, like I said, I never really had him in physical education or in health. He was already a senior. As we all know, even in this level 5 situation, seniors have kind of a different schedule. They can leave earlier. It's a little more relaxed, so on and so forth. That's what it was with him. He always had a smile on his face. He always had 2 big fake earrings in his ears, shiny earrings. And he's one of them kids, man, just a cool kid, this and that. And when he was dancing, he'd kill it, But unfortunately, that wasn't the only thing he was killing. Now, it's extremely important that you understand that, like I said before, he wasn't one of these students that would huff and puff. He wasn't one of these students who would give you a hard time. He wasn't stereotypical in a negative manner in any way. You wouldn't forecast any sort of negative behavior in his future. You wouldn't say, "Oh, that kid's going." You would say, "Hey, that kid actually graduated. He's going. He's going places. Good for him." And that's what I thought. We all thought. Let me read y'all something. 19-year-old man. And I guess when this happened, he was 17 or 18, and it took about a couple years for sentencing, or a year. 19-year-old man gets 2 life sentences for 2017 rape and murder of Baltimore woman. I'm going to read y'all something now. This is the same kid I'm talking about. One of the only kids at this school that never gave anybody any problems, always had a smile on his face. So now I think I understand why he was at that school. Or did we all really know his capabilities? A 19-year-old man will serve 2 life sentences, 2 for the rape and murder of Jessica Gibson in September 2017. Police responded to the back of the Port Discovery Children's Museum on September 13th, 2017. For those who don't know, this is downtown Baltimore City. This isn't some alley. This isn't like a bad neighborhood. This is downtown Baltimore City, behind the biggest children's attraction in the city, where people even from outside of Baltimore come and visit. By all the nightclubs, the ones that actually out-of-towners go to, the college kids go to. This is not a quote-unquote seedy environment, a dangerous place. So behind this Port Discovery Children's Museum, police found the body of 35-year-old Gibson hidden behind several large pallets. Her pants were pulled down to her knees, and there was evidence of trauma to her head, arms, and body, police said. The medical examiner said the victim suffered significant trauma to her neck, including fractured cartilage to her throat, contusions, lacerations, and abrasions around her head, face, and along her arms, legs, and torso. There was also evidence the victim had suffered forced sexual abuse both before and after she was dead. Before and after. He was arrested on September 16, 2007, and he at first denied his involvement. But after he was shown photos from surveillance videos of himself and the victim walking together right before she was murdered, he changed his story. Now, this was his story. He told police Gibson was a prostitute and that he was going to pay her to perform certain sexual acts. But when he realized he didn't have enough money, he strangled her until she was unconscious. House confessed that he raped her, took the money he initially paid her, and left. And this is the mother of 3 or 4 children. A young mother of 3 or 4 children. He strangled her, he raped her before and after she was dead. And then he took his money back and left. Now, this is probably one of the sickest things I've ever heard. Let alone from someone I knew or thought I knew. And this is the rare case where I don't put any blame on the school for what happened to this kid, see? And that's why he got 2 life sentences. In my previous video, I told you about Dion's story. But you know what? James wasn't off any medication. He was quote-unquote in his right mind. He had graduated, blah, 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 blah. He ends up being a fucking psycho, a super sexual predator. And that goes to show you, sexual predators are extremely hard to spot. And I'm a great judge of character, and I completely whiffed on that one. I whiffed. This dude was a sick fuck the whole time. He strangled the woman dead. He raped her before and after she was dead. He raped a dead body. He took her money and left her lifeless body underneath some fucking pallets. And if you don't know what a pallet is, it's a big-ass wood thing that you find in like grocery stores and in factories where they just put different shit on. You have one pallet, you stack it up, you put another pallet like a Sam's Club or BJ's or whatever, Costco's, you put another one. That's a pallet. He just, like she was trash. So, I mean, James fooled everybody. And you gotta be damn good to fool me, man. You gotta be damn good for me to look at you and be like, man, you know what, man? That's a good kid. I wonder what he's doing here. And I can completely be wrong. Completely be wrong. These are the type of students that are on level 5 situations across the fucking nation. I didn't know his history. Maybe there was some sexual shit in the past, which obviously wasn't addressed properly. Which I doubt even occurred, but maybe there was a low IQ or some bullshit that got him into the school. Because it wasn't his behavior from what I saw. He wasn't a threat to anybody, we thought. And there was plenty of women working at that school. They were mostly women. As far as teachers and administration. We all knew him as a dancer, a positive guy, one of the few positive ones. This goes to show you in life, you got to be very fucking careful, man. That's what really ruined a lot of my trust. When that happened, listen, I don't put shit past fucking anybody, the gruesomest shit, because the people who do the gruesomest shit, they're not the guy with like a fucking trench coat and a hoodie walking down nighttime looking scary. That's the motherfucker who lives next door to you, who always smiles and shakes your hand. That's the sick motherfucker. All right, like this kid was a sick fuck. What else is there to say? James, you fucked up. You're a piece of shit. You're doing 2 life sentences, and that's why they gave you 2 life sentences. This is Baltimore City. All right, this is where you can shoot someone in this town and get a few years and get out. You can kill someone, get 15 years with a good record, get out. It's the facts. They gave him 2 life sentences because they realized, man, this kid wasn't even on medication. He's just a sick fuck. He's a sociopath, rapist, killer. Fool us all. Level 5 education lockdown.